Hey guys, how you doing? Happy Monday. Actually, Monday is probably the least interesting day in the archipelago, so I figured I'd just do kind of a quick catch-up video and just sort of sum up some of my thoughts on this tribe cycle, because it continues to be a point of debate amongst the community about uh, you know, if this is a good thing, these tribes are terrible, and so on. Like, just people have a bunch of different opinions, and a lot of people are very frustrated. I keep hearing people who are saying that they can't beat a base and they need to re-roll. And I will be honest with you, just that has not been my experience at all. To refresh your memory, these are the tribes. No shields right now in the weapon lab, but on the other hand, HQ health is buffed 75%. That has actually made using warriors pretty iffy. I didn't think it would be quite this bad, and I use warriors, but I'm using them much more sparingly. Heavy life leech, that's something slightly more than nothing. Scorcher health, I never use them. Medkit healing is actually pretty good. The PSC, 50%, everybody loves that. And then flamethrower damage. So nothing really very powerful to the offensive side, and I mean, HQ health plus 75%, that's pretty good. So a lot of even offensively minded players are kind of bogging down and getting stuck and can't beat a base using what they know, and then they quit on it, re-roll it as soon as they get the chance. Not at all my experience. I will say that I have had to break out literally every trick in my bag, but being honest with you, I've got a few tricks in my bag, and I'm going to show you my attack log here in a second. I had a fantastic replay that I wanted to show, and then I lost it. It was in chat, it fell out because I waited too long. But I mean, just there is a trick to every base. I wanted to do a nice hookah video with that. There is a nice hookah hidden here. I'll show it. It's a fail, but I'll explain a little bit of what my thinking was. Actually, it's the only fail you're going to see here. All the rest of these, and these are all unboosted, I believe. This is from last night, and that is unboosted. This is from this morning, and I haven't boosted yet today. So everything up to here, 3 minutes and 48 seconds ago, is all unboosted. So just watch the stats as we go. But here's what I want to show you. So, and I've actually been getting so deep into my bag of tricks, I don't have these hits either. There was another fantastic hit I wanted to show. It was a TMG hit, Tank Medgren. I've been doing that even. I've had some very good success, even on bases with a little bit of ice using TMG. That was interesting, not because it was a tank hit and I was doing it, although that by itself is somewhat remarkable, but it was interesting because there are a bunch. We still have sky shields around, and I've come to the conclusion that sky shields and microwavers and grapplers all tend to lead people into terrible base designs. Oh yeah, I have a CMO cooked up. Where's that going? Let's see, 4 days. Interesting. We'll have to figure out where we're putting that guy later. Fun. Maybe we'll try hiding him off in the trees. I don't know. Anyway, like, there are some questionable things here in the weapon lab right now. The grapplers have gone away, and the sky shields have gone away, but just the base designs over the past week, some of them have boggled my mind. And that TMG hit, this person had 2 sky shields clustered right around the HQ, and all of his important high-powered defenses. He had boom cannons in there, and he had blaster, at least one blaster in there. He had shock launchers in there. Just everything grouped up, clumped up next to his HQ. Problem with that was there was a spot maybe 2 tiles wide right in the middle of the HQ where you could just go in there with a shock. It was still exposed, and shock all of those things. You couldn't get all of them at once, but you could get most of them at any one time, making that base just very, very easy to control the things that you need to shut off and to have success in in that style of hit, which primarily the boom cannons and shock launchers and stuff. Just very, very bad base designs, and I've been posting my bullet grappler videos. I've got another one in here somewhere. We'll stop when we get to that one. But this is going back to last night, and just all of the different strategies that I have been using. So starting here, this was traditional RZCM. Traditional meaning for me that it's got Sparky involved. I generally use critters, but some people use universal remote, but either way, it's RCZM with Sparky. And then there's Warriors, because that's Bob, and Bob still won't leave it alone. No comments on that. And here was a bullet hookah hit. Don't remember that one, but we're going to show another one at the end of this. And here was RZCM, but unconventional. This is with bullet. Very quickly, this is QDC. I want to look at this one quickly to see if, oh, and here's another case where the grapplers came into play. Rocket's all back and under a sky shield, but bullet can get under that sky shield, and I think you know where this is going. Let bullet get taken by the grappler. He just sits back there and taunts all of these, and then really I just have to worry about the front of the base and just march right through it. Just horrible, horrible ideas that people, you know, I don't, just because they're in the weapon lab, that doesn't mean you have to use them, folks. The grappler, at least it has its uses, but you do have to understand that it also has some pretty steep vulnerabilities, so use with caution. So here we had a warrior hit, probably a no ice player. I haven't been donating to these players this week because I just don't have enough gold for that. You see I have a fair amount of gold right now, but then again I haven't done my or I haven't finished my hammerman for the day, so some of that gold's going to go away in a minute. So that's that was a straight up warrior hit. And here again traditional RZCM, and here again traditional RZCM, and here we had yet another warrior hit, also I believe an offensive player. And again, I apologize, I will go back to the donations as soon as, you know, because I mean there's not a lot of fails there. Other people apparently are failing much more, but times is still tight, just saying. So here we have RZCM again, and it's another bullet grappler hit. So we're gonna watch this because it's hilarious. It's twin grapplers right around the HQ. And mainly just keep your eyes on bullet, because there's no tricks here other than, you know, taunting with bullet. Now this ran this guy does have some ice, so that ran my GBE fairly low. I want to say it was 36 or 39 or something like that to get those 2 shock towers out. But now all we have to do is just taunt. That's it. And taunt is cheap. Taunt is really ridiculously cheap. And just this whole back of the base is completely occupied. Even if it's not taunted, these rocket launchers are not taunted, it doesn't matter because bullet is closest thing to them, and they're just turning their head back and forth and watching him. And eventually, actually, right around here, bullet dies, and it looked a tiny bit hairy, but I already had troops gunning on the HQ, so I just chucked some critters out there. I had more to spare. At this point, I had almost 60 GBE, so I started with 36, and because taunt is so cheap, I almost doubled it in the course of the attack while still taunting, so probably more than doubled it. Well, nobody tells Supercell, but I think taunt is actually still a little overpowered. Don't get me wrong, the regular bullet before the bullet nerf was better than this bullet, but it's still ridiculously overpowered because you can do things like that. And then we had a bullet Zuka hit. So I get just look at the base, improvise, come up with something. And this wasn't a base. This could have been warriors because this guy doesn't appear to have any ice, but didn't really want to go that route, so figured just get to the corner and let bullet do his thing. He'll taunt all this stuff over here. And then main thing that I want to worry about, I wasn't sure if the grappler would take him or not, but I wasn't opposed to that one way or the other, because if the grappler takes bullet, now he's blocking incoming fire from the rocket launchers and shock launcher over there. So really the only thing I'm worried about is this rocket down here, and I'm thinking critters for that, because this microwaver doesn't quite range the edge of the wall here, so I can get some critters over here on like this cannon, and that should pretty safely keep my troops protected. He had a really annoying mines, I'll say that, like over in here, hiding behind a couple of his statues. Like, we all know you have them there, but whatever. I shouldn't complain. He's like me. He's all offense. We try to do what we do. Tiny bit late on that smoke there, but just look at the base, figure out a spot, and then figure out how to hit it. That's really all I can say. There are so many things that you can do. There we go with the critters up top. Do we even get the critters down the bottom? Where did they go to? Doesn't matter, because the base went down so quickly. Bullet did end up getting grappled. The base went down so quickly with no shield on the HQ that it didn't end up... There wasn't time for things to get bad on me. I don't know. This is just me, and this is what I appreciate about the game, but improvise, innovate, and try new things. So that, and this is why, because we come to a tribe cycle like this these past couple of weeks, and I just can't preach it enough. You need to have the tricks in your bag, and when you have all the tricks in your bag, then you have tools to go out and beat people. So here's the ice hookah hit I was talking about earlier, and I decided to go with Sparky here. Don't know if that was the right call or not. Ice hookah didn't end up working, so here's my first true fail since last night anyway. Bit of a rough base. Got 2 boosted ice over there, 2 blasters and a doom cannon. I like sky shields. Sky shields don't shoot back at me. Blasters and doom cannons do. But the plan on this base was to remove the 2 furthest range towers, the ones that are deepest into the heart of the base and therefore hardest to get to. And we're going to try to walk up into the blind spot of this rocket launcher and use value shocks on these 2 towers first and then these towers after, to try to clear those out. I don't know if this was going to work one way or another, but I figured it was worth a go. Drops a few heavies a little early and then just starts smoking. Heavies took some damage, that's okay. As I say with the RZCM, that gives the medic something to do. We're going to flare out to the shock launcher. That way the heavies get out front. And things start to happen, and it's looking pretty decent. You're getting the value shocks there with there we got the blaster and the rocket launcher together. Right about here, I realized that I didn't have many heavies left. Actually, I have just 1, and he's about to die. Yep, there he goes. And yeah, I knew it wasn't going to happen. So I don't know if having bullet around would have solved anything there, but that's fine. So I tried to get a few troops out alive. That didn't end up working. Yeah, it was hopeless. It was futile. So retreating, and then there's this one Zooga, run! And she gets sniped on the way by that blaster. Okay, so we tried something, and it didn't work. Sat back, looked at the base a little bit, and we pull out the bullet hookah again. So, and here's the thinking on that one. He doesn't have many mines up the right wall. You can pop that and pop these down here pretty easily, but after that it's a clear walk. If you're coming off the beach and if you flare directly to that spot where his shock mine is, you very often get a really nice pattern, and you're going to see it here where the girls are just going to walk right up along in here. And that's exactly what we want here, to avoid all of those mines up the inside of this path. And then we're just going to get up right next to the HQ and flare outwards to something. I think it's going to be this cannon, and that's going to get the heavies and bullet sort of damn, lost the pen. Hello. Oh, there it is. It was sitting on top of, I think it was sitting on top of a flamethrower, so I couldn't see it. So flare out to this cannon, and then that's going to pull the heavies and bullet out to here, and they're just going to act like a wall. Meanwhile, bullet will taunt, and everything in the area where I'm standing will get taunted. And really, the biggest thing I'm worried about here is the machine gun up top. So we improvise. We make do. Gotta pop that one mine. Did I use critters here, or did I use barrage? I forget. And it was less than 5 minutes ago, but this is what happens when you get old. Oh, just for giggles, sorry. excuse me, just for giggles, decided I would take out the shock launcher that was close by. This blaster isn't going to range, this shock launcher isn't going to range, so as long as Bullet can keep taunting, that's the idea here, as long as Bullet can keep taunting, there's nothing that can really hurt us too much. This will be occupied by the heavies and Bullet, this will be occupied by the heavies and Bullet, this will be taunted, and so on. So, and I mean, it's a little bit, this is not how I would normally be approaching things, I will grant you that, but whatever. I mean, in time of need, and this is that time, you gotta have these things handy. A friend of mine who is a very good player told me a couple days ago that, you know, he doesn't really know hookah. And I'm like, wait a minute, how can you not know hookah? You're an ops guy. You know, if you can do Zuka, then you should be able to do hookah as well, because there are certain situations, like Armadillo, I very often use hookah instead of Zuka. Taking a little heat on the back end there, but it really doesn't matter. Still got a bunch of troops left, and the Zukas can sit back, and the heavies all step forward. There you go, perfect. That is exactly what you want. A little more separation would be great, but again, it's just not going to matter. And start clearing things. And then, like I said, this machine gun up top, don't really like that. Luckily, Bullet steps out in a minute, so we've got a shock on it right now, but Bullet steps out in a minute once the blaster goes down, and then he gets into range where he can taunt that too. Well, isn't that just peachy? He's got the attention of this rocket launcher, and we've got heavies there too, and meanwhile, the girls, there's a pretty good number of girls there, and they're making a mess of that HQ in a hurry, because that's what ladies do. Alright, if at first you don't succeed, try something different. I don't know what to say, really. I'm not going to say that it's been very easy. I've had to use my brain a whole lot more these past, what is it, week and a half or so now? And not quite even. I've had to use my brain a whole lot more to make it happen, and I'm not going to lie about that. But on the other hand, if you have more than one playing style, more than a couple playing styles, oh, come on, Bob, really? You should be okay out there. And like I said, I've branched out from my usual thing as well. I've even ventured into doing some tanky stuff because it seemed appropriate. I mean, a couple bases with microwavers and sky shields, which aren't really going to be a concern to tanks, it seemed like the right play to make. I just have to worry about, you know, like the boom cannons and stuff. That's pretty vanilla. So I'm an opportunist. I say this all the time. Whatever works is what I will do, and I'm saying I'm proud about it. I'm not proud. I'm not bragging, I guess. Just whatever works. I'm not proud in the sense that I'm not going to use my one pet strategy and just only that and then nothing else. I'll do whatever. I just want wins. I want the VP, I want the intel, I want wins, and I want to lose as few troops as possible because I'd like to have some gold left at the end of the day. So get out there, strategize, ask for input. Apparently Supercell support gives input on bases now, but I wouldn't recommend you go to them. Their advice, from what I've seen, is really horrible. But you know, go on Discord or Reddit or something, ask some people who might know for recommendations, and try something different, because this is why you need to know more than one or two attack strategies. Anyway, I have rambled long enough. I just wanted to offer my 2 cents on the way things are. Obviously, I don't hate this. I find it interesting. Yeah, it's a little bit more work than it has been, but do we really want the game to be on easy mode all the time? I say no. So I actually do appreciate these tribe cycles, and I'm looking forward to the next one, which will cover the new Mega Crab, because I am anticipating, after 2 pretty blah tribe cycles, I'm expecting that the next one should be something great. And there's a positive note that we can leave off on, so, you know, like the video, thumbs up, comment if you have thoughts or criticisms or whatever, and I will catch you later.